Hi. Warning, the following presentation is for educational purposes, which contains graphic descriptions of crimes and is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
On the morning of March 24th, 2015, Michelle Blair, a mother of four, had a knock at the front door of her townhouse in Detroit, Michigan. She was being evicted due to non-payment of rent. However, Michelle wasn't home. She was visiting a friend with two of her children. So investigators proceeded to enter and began removing furniture and clearing out the townhome. That's when they came across a white deep freezer in the middle of the living room. What they found inside would shock the city of Detroit. Inside the deep freezer, investigators found two of Michelle's children. The body of 13-year-old Stoney Ann Blair, wrapped in a plastic bag, and underneath laid the body of 9-year-old Stephen Gage Berry. It was later discovered that they were in that freezer for years. Michelle was picked up and taken into custody. She immediately confessed to the murders of two of her children and began to explain the disturbing details.
Where are your other two kids, Stoney and Stephen?
At my house, at the old house.
Where in your house are they?
Freezer.
Who put them in there?
I did.
Why did you do that?
Because they were flat out raping him. And I didn't find out it was going on, but it had been going on for years. Because Maddie was in diapers.
How did you become aware of it?
Came home one day, rushed to the front door and was like, Mom.
When was this?
This was a while ago. This incident didn't just happen.
When you say a while ago, was it a year, 2 years, a month?
Around there.
Around where?
Year or two.
So according to Michelle, one day she gets home and sees her youngest son, Matthew, playing with his toys. He began putting action figures in inappropriate positions. When Michelle inquired about it, Matthew mentioned Stephen had done these things to him. After being told this, Michelle confronted Stephen, who allegedly admitted to the accusations, as well as forcing Matthew to drink Windex. Michelle began abusing him, having Stephen drink Windex, scolding him with hot water, and putting a plastic bag over his head until he lost consciousness. Stephen lost his life after 2 weeks of the constant abuse. He was then wrapped up and placed into the freezer. About 9 months go by before Michelle discovered Stoney allegedly had been the original abuser to both Stephen and Matthew.
What did you do to your daughter, Stoney?
Should I tell you what happened with her before?
No, we're going to get to
Okay.
that. I just need to know what you did to her, and then we're going to get back to what she did. Okay?
I punched her so hard. Because she was still doing that to Matthew after.
Doing what to
months
him?
later. They were both with him. But Matthew only told me about Stephen. And he said he was so scared of Stoney. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me this? He said, because she kept saying that, don't say nothing. Or she gonna beat me up and all that.
Michelle punished Stoney in the same horrific way she punished Stephen. Stoney would endure constant beatings as well as being scolded with hot water. Michelle claimed that Matthew informed her of additional acts of abuse caused by Stoney, which included the contents of a menstrual pad being ingested. It's unknown as to how long Michelle was abusing Stoney before she passed away. Their bodies were sent to the examiner for autopsies. It took 3 days for them to thaw out. The medical examiner determined the cause of death was from severe burns and beatings. Michelle Blair pleaded guilty in June of 2015 for 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder.
As a mother, your primary responsibility was to protect your kids. And in that respect, you failed in the worst possible way. There's nothing that can be done at this point to change what happened.
True, that's why I'm asking for life.
I know. And thankfully, that house of horrors that you created is no longer in existence. I do pray that your remaining children
They will.
recover
They will.
from what they saw and endured in that household. What struck me as rather unnerving was that you stated that your kids got it better than what you had. I fail to see how that's possible when you're still here.
You're talking
here.
about
No,
the deceased children?
No, let me talk. It's you. Despite what happened to you when you were a child, you had the opportunity to grow up.
True.
You had the opportunity to become an adult. You had the opportunity to make your own decisions with respect to running your own life. And you were blessed with 4 children. Stoney and Stephen are never going to have that. They don't have those same opportunities. And when I think about all of the possible joys that they could be missing out on, one thing that strikes me as the greatest tragedy here is that they will never know what a life is like without experiencing fearing their mother. They will never know the joy of what could have been in their life without having you in it. They lived in terrible fear of you. And I find that just so sad in this case. After all is said and done, you imposed the death penalty on your own children.
I did.
And you readily admit it, and you want to take responsibility of it. You're therefore sentenced to the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your life without the possibility of parole, meaning, of course, that you will never get out.